Good day, class. Today we're going to be looking at two texts, Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare and The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Now, why are we looking at these two texts? That's because we will soon be reading Romeo and Juliet as a class together. And I want to let you guys know about The Hate You Give because this would be a great book to read on your own in order to support your comprehension of Romeo and Juliet. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the tale Romeo and Juliet, it is a play written by William Shakespeare in the 1590s. Yes, you heard me right, the 1590s. Because this text was written so long ago, the language in it is going to seem a lot different than the language you see in text today. That's because this was written in Old English. Now, on to the plot. This story is about two young lovers who are kept apart by their feuding families. This decades-long dispute between the two families is what fuels the character conflicts in this story. Now, on to The Hate You Give. For those of you who have never heard about The Hate You Give, you're really missing out. This story is about a young teenage girl named Star Carter who lives in Garden Heights, a predominantly poor and black neighborhood. She also attends Williams Prep, a private school that is primarily geared toward the rich and the white. His whole story is about Star Carter trying to find a balance between these two worlds, her community and her school. Everything comes to a head when a close friend of hers is shot and killed by a police officer right in front of her. If you're interested in finding out what happens next, pick this book up and read. So, you may be thinking, what does The Hate You Give have to do with Romeo and Juliet? Well, for one, they both include romantic couples who are disapproved of by their societies for things they can't control or change. Additionally, they also have very similar character conflicts, including man versus man versus self, and man versus society. For example, both Juliet and Star are in a romantic relationship with someone that their families heavily disapprove of, again, for things they can't change. For an example of this, let's look at Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 2. O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or, if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy, thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand nor foot, nor arm nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name, which is no part of thee, take all myself. So in that scene, which is Act 2, Scene 2 of Romeo and Juliet, Juliet laments over the situation that her and Romeo are in and questions why a name, something that doesn't define who we are as people, could be so important as to warrant keeping her and Romeo apart. Alright, now let's look at an example from The Hate You Give. I forget that Daddy is here and that I potentially have a big-ass problem on my hands. That only lasts about 10 seconds though, because Daddy asks, "Who are you?" Chris extends his hand to Daddy. "Christopher, sir. Nice to meet you." Daddy gives him a twice over. "You know my daughter or something?" Daddy always tells me to never bite my tongue for anyone. That includes him. So I say it. He's my boyfriend. Boyfriend, Daddy repeats. The hell, Star, Daddy says. You dating a white boy? Maverick, Mama snaps. Let's go outside, Mama says tightly, now. Daddy glares at Chris and follows Mama to the patio. So in that excerpt of The Hate You Give, Star finally reveals to her dad that she is dating Chris, who happens to be a white boy. As you can see, her dad and family did not react great to that news, right? So Star is the man in this case, and her family is the society, thus the man versus society conflict in this book. So as you can see, The Hate You Give and Romeo and Juliet are two completely different and unique texts. However, you will still find many similarities in the structure of their character conflicts, and if you continue reading both at the same time, you'll keep seeing similarities between their man versus man and man versus self conflicts as well. In short, I highly recommend that on your own, you pick up The Hate U Give and read it, while as a class we're reading Romeo and Juliet, because by reading these at the same time, it'll deepen your comprehension and understanding of both texts. If you're interested, let me know and I'll set aside a copy for you.